lovely Havana. I'd been here once before. It was a truly awful pleasure.
See someone you know?
No, just putting on a friendly face. I shouldn't want to be mistaken for a pirate again.
Right. Flash rogue like yourself must be cautious.
Yeah. Mad to think Spain and England were at war 2 years ago, isn't it? Here I am, bartering with Spaniards like they were my cousins. Nothing wrong, Duncan?
No, it's nothing. Sand in my hampers. So where's the best squad in town? I'm dying for a quick kip. Or a siesta, should I say.
I'm just headed to a public house now to meet some merchants. I could show you the way.
Well, lead on.
I hope you'll tarry a bit while I conduct my meeting. It'd be a great relief to have a man of your stature nearby, in case of a misunderstanding.
I can hang about. I might have a drink.
Splendid. Drink.
They don't take kindly to pirates here, do they? Wonder how many stolen reals bought these men this perch. Hola, ladies.
You don't know these women, do you?
No. They charge money for that kind of privilege. A few dozen reals for every hour of knowing. Keen to meet them?
No, goodness no, I'm a married man.
Married man of their forte, mate.
Before moving on, I think we can probably learn a little bit about Stede here. He was born in 1688, and we don't know when he died. But he was born into plenitude and wealth on Barbados. Stede Bonnet seemed destined for a life of pleasure and ease. The son of a successful and influential plantation owner, his early life was marked by tragedy when his parents died suddenly, leaving 7-year-old Stede orphaned and in perpetual state of melancholy. His inheritance of some 400 acres of land softened the blow caused by the loss of his parents, and by the time Stede was in his late teens, he had already restored the sugar plantation to a profitable state. He married young and set about starting a family as soon as possible, but owing to what some would call a disorder of the mind, he never found solace or comfort in these domestic trappings. To further complicate his unease, his firstborn son died in infancy, further amplifying his grief and stirring his restlessness. As a means of coping, he dreamed of going to sea and sailing about the world, meeting people, living life as a man free of obligations thrust upon him. And OG says, this sounds like an inspiring story. Would he make a good hero or villain character? And ML responds, no, trust me. Next we have the British Empire. The course of the 18th century saw the British Empire become the world's leading colonial power, with France and Spain as its primary rivals. After siding with the Netherlands and the Holy Roman Empire in the War of the Spanish Succession, the British Empire expanded, gaining territories from both Spain and France, and taking control of the Atlantic slave trade in Spanish America. Before moving on, we can learn about Havana. There were several attempts to found a town near the Havana Bay in the early 1500s. A settlement was established by the Spanish conquistador Diego Velázquez de Cellular. That's butchered that. Around 1914, the city sits on a bay that opens to the Gulf Stream and thus became a natural stopping point between Europe and the Americas. In the earliest stages of the golden age of piracy, Havana was burnt to the ground by French corsair Jacques de Sorres. By the 1700s, Havana was a large, heavily fortified port city where Spanish treasure ships would dock on their way to Europe. Pirates lurked on the approaches to the city, hoping to capture these same ships. Note, I've been trying to get the Cuban government in on this one to work a tourism angle, but they don't seem to understand marketing at all. Signed, RL. We'll have to find out who these initials belong to, but for now, we'll go to people. Dancers. A cowardly euphemism for women employed in the world's oldest profession. That's prostitution. For a handful of coin, dancers can be employed to distract guards and interfere with ongoing fights. They might also have some incredible stories of their own to tell, if only you'd bother to listen. What is this? Who approved this paragraph? Signed, OG. Next, we have the Spanish Empire. Already a global power, the Spanish defeated powerful adversaries such as the Aztecs and Incas in the Americas by exploiting existing conflicts and rivalries between tribes and nations. Between the 15th and 18th centuries, note, and also by accidentally spreading disease, it wasn't all strategy, signed by JM. Acquisitive and protective of the supply of precious metals its new colonies afforded it, the Spanish Empire enthusiastically participated in the Atlantic slave trade and defended its trade routes aggressively. In 1701, Spain became embroiled in the War of Spanish Succession. At once international and civil, it ended with a series of treaties in 1713 and 14 that saw King Philip V remain in power, but lose his line to the French throne. Note, let's face it, he wasn't really using that thing anyway, signed RL. Moreover, Philip kept his title of overseas emperor, but relinquished much of his empire to the British, who were granted the exclusive right to slave trading in Spanish America for 30 years. The century was nevertheless one of prosperity for the Spanish Empire as their trade reputation grew steadily under Bourbon oversight and continued to grow at an extraordinary rate until the 1780s. Note, gosh, I'm so glad they recovered from that slave trading loss, Philip V. What a trooper. J.M. Now we can continue to follow Stede here.
Here's a purveyor of personal defenses. I should acquire a blade for myself, Duncan, just as you have.
This rusty razor's nothing to admire.
Even so, I appear a mere kitten walking so close upon you. Perhaps a small dagger would suit me. Let's see what he's selling.
Maybe I'll buy a sword too. We'll both jump rank.
Oh, we'll be quite the pair, you and I. Twin devils.
Lend us a few reals then. I did save your skin.
Of course.
Cheers. That's a benefit for me. How do you fare?
I had only enough for a small knife, sadly. Still, it'll do in a pinch. Oh, puffer duff. I have led us astray, Duncan.
Oh, no matter. I'll get us a better view. What are we looking for?
A tavern with a sort of courtyard interior.
Alright, I think I know what to do. Let's climb up this church and take in the view and see if we can find that tavern.
My goodness, you're an agile chap.
Every finger's a fishhook. That's how you tell a true sailor.
Yes, a fine way to put it.
I think I see the place. We're not far.
No te resistas, Gordiflón! Para! Para!
Hang tight!
Oh, he's brought me blind! Go, go, what do I do? Oh, I can't breathe. I think my
Stop or I'll break your knees when I catch you.
We're gonna have to chase this guy down. He must have stole whatever money Stede had
Close at
left.
heel, shitbird.
Chasing him through Havana.
Here I come.
This place seems pretty nice.
Don't make me chase you into the harbor.
It's pretty quick. I keep getting stuck on things. Here we go. Yeah, gotcha, sucker. Fulfilled optional objective and then murdered.
Robbed the wrong man, mate. A fellow with dangerous friends.
That's right. Let's find Stede Bonnet. Oh, he's actually not super far away. And here we are. Look at that. Walk out like nothing ever happened. Like we just got your stuff back and didn't kill anyone.
By Jove, you're alive!
Of course I am. That filch was no fuss.
Oh, yeah. Ah, we've arrived.
Take your time. I'll be just here.
Fancy meeting a Welshman deep in Dago country. I'm English myself. Biding my time till the next war calls me to service.
Lucky King George. Having a piss pot like you flying his flag.
Oi! Skulk! I've seen your face before. You's mates with them pirates down in Nassau.
Shut your fucking gob or I'll fill it with shot. You hear me?
Edward, is it?
You bastard! Hey, I warned him. You want a dust up? I'll give you one.
Looks like we got a little fight tutorial going on.
You're not leaving me!
I'll catch you up!
Perro inglés!
It's the disappearing trick. It didn't work. Alright, we gotta get away from the guards. Hide out for a bit, and then, I think after that, once we escape this area, instead of going straight to Mr. Bonnet, we're actually gonna go and explore Havana, and actually probably collect and view everything that we possibly can. I like the music that plays for these viewpoints. Next, we stumble upon the Cathedral of Havana. We can take a look at that, along with ramparts. Construction of the Cathedral de la Virgen María de la Concepción Immaculada de la Havana was, I would never say that whole thing, was started in 1748 and finished in 1777, a mesmerizing example of Baroque aesthetics. The building's obvious asymmetry and curious construction material, coral taken from the ocean nearby, make this one of the most unique houses of worship in the world, and one of the most iconic landmarks in the West Indies. Note, as much as I love this building, truly music set in stone, we simply can't use it. 1748 is far too late for this virtual experience. Around 1720, it would be a small, rough church rising from drained swampland. Sorry, signed DM. What? We're selling climbable buildings. We'll fudge the dates, ML. I'm not on board with fudging dates, DM. Here at Abstergo Entertainment, beauty before truth. Not for us, John Keats and his tidy odes. Truth is beauty. Beauty is truth. People want to see landmarks. RL. However you justify it, just shorten the dang name. JM. Alright, ramparts. The fortified wall of a castle or walled city. Ramparts are generally built of stone, several feet thick, and are often topped by a defensive crenellation, a sawtooth battlement providing openings from which to fire. And we can get back to viewpoints. I really like doing the viewpoints and seeing what Ubisoft has put together. These people take a lot of time to make these games, I would think. As you can see, well, as you can kind of see, there are a bunch of things on the map here. Some of which I'm not even going to do, but the collectibles, I'm going to collect them. And almost everything's already on the map. You don't actually need to go and buy them on this one. No maps to things. As of yet. If we run into something like that, I'll try and mention it. But I want to see what these pages are. Looks like they're in the chests. And we're gonna have to fight our way to it. Okay, we're done fighting every soldier in Havana. And we get a manuscript. And they hold great secrets. And then we can open the database to find out what it is. So, this is the Voynich manuscript, folio 35R. The fourth of 4 extant pages of the mysterious Voynich manuscript, stolen from Peter Beckford's collection at some point after 1705. The significance is unclear. We can zoom in to see what we're looking at, but I can't read any of the words, so it's just the picture. Next up, another viewpoint. Be cool to go to Havana. See that church, maybe. Moving on. We find another manuscript, The Fetus in the Womb. A drawing by Leonardo da Vinci, relevance is unknown, taken from the estate of Peter Beckford. This guy seems to come up a lot. And there it is. And as we know from Assassin's Creed Revelations, I think, Leonardo and Ezio were talking, and he was talking about studying a woman with child. Maybe that was it. Castillo San Salvador de la Punta. Part of a system of fortifications built to protect Havana Bay from incursions by French corsairs, the fortress was begun in 1590 and took decades to complete. The fortress is close enough to the nearby Castillo Moro to permit a heavy iron chain to be extended between them that could be tightened to block incursions by enemy ships. Next up, we find another manuscript, Voynich manuscript, folio 33V, one of 4 extant pages of the mysterious Voynich manuscript stolen from Peter Beckford's collection at some point after 1705, though the manuscript was found in Europe prior to the European discovery of the New World. This image clearly depicts a sunflower, a flower only found in the Americas at the time. And 34, the second of 4, stolen from Peter Beckford's collection at some point after 1705. Significance is unclear. Just another plant. Let's see, what do we have for people? Drunkards, sailors flush with rum, and the heat of the sun. These drunkards can be useful in a few ways. First, as blend groups that allow Edward to hide in plain sight, and secondly, as allies in the event of a scuffle. But remember to bring a bit of coin if you want them to fight alongside you, as these pirates won't risk their lives for free. Why are these guys always standing around in tight huddles? Can't we find a few who are swinging from chandeliers or sleeping under donkeys? Oh, gee. I don't know why they'd be huddling around in huddles. Just because they're drunk people, I guess. I don't know. That's weird. I wouldn't be outside, I tell you that much. It's hot down there. I'm sure of it. After this viewpoint, we wander into a restricted area to look for more treasures and the like. But we find this warehouse, which we can learn a little bit about. Throughout the Caribbean basin and Bermuda, the frequent extreme heat coupled with tropical storms required that goods be protected from the elements. Warehouses therefore dot the landscape as farmers seek to protect sugarcane, wheat, bananas, and so on. Next, in another restricted area, we can find another manuscript page. However, getting into the guards have noticed us, and we need to flee the area. This one is the Atlanta Fugians, from the Atlanta Fugians by Michael Mayer, alchemist and counselor to Emperor Rudolph II, once owned by Peter Beckford Estate. As we flee the guards, we get another database entry. The Basilica Menor de San Francisco de Asis. A dominating presence on Havana's Plaza de San Francisco, the Basilica Menor de San Francisco de Asis dates from 1580s, originally a statue of Saint Francis of Assisi stood atop the bell tower, but this was blown off in a cyclone in 1846. Baroque features were added to the basilica in 1730. Perfect for us. Striking historical authentico sign DM. They use it for concerts nowadays. Incredible acoustics, signed JM. And back to viewpoints. Next, we find ourselves again in another restricted area, this time treasure inside of a castle, or a fort, I guess. And you messed up for going outside. Who even does that? I'm sure there's more of you. I was actually just going to do that viewpoint, but since we can get in here, I thought maybe it was in here and we had to do something to get it. Oh, we got another manuscript. Let's see what it says. Voynich 34V. The third of 4. And the collection was stolen. Significance was unclear. Here we are at the top of the fort. We find ourselves in more and more restricted spaces. But what we do find is the governor's mansion. The governor's mansion housed the acting Spanish governor in addition to prison facilities. A new governor's mansion was constructed across the square in 1791. Note, in addition to prison facilities. What? No pool? And that one's signed by R.L. And that, I think, is our last viewpoint. And mostly everything is collected here in Havana, so we can return to Stede Bonnet.
Sorry about the swift exit. Bit of a misunderstanding.
One heaped upon another.
Oh, Jesus. I'm sorry, mate. This is my doing. I'm only trying to keep these Spanish eyes off me.
Oh, it's no bother. Regrettably, the soldiers confiscated my sugar and your dispatches.
Damn! And where have they gone?
Haven't the foggiest idea, I'm afraid. I suspect those chaps might, but my Spanish is muy mal dad, so I'd rather not ask.
Shit! Alright, come on, let's follow them and recover my maps.
And my sugar?
What, in my drawers? We'll see what happens.
You don't mind me tagging along, do you?
Not if you keep quiet and stay out of sight.
Voy a morirte. Vale, querido.
On it!
I believe I'm getting the hang of this.
Quiet!
I fear they're onto us.
Hang back.
At oculos aper. Fuerat camelos
Perhaps we should split up to confuse them.
It's the best idea you've had today.
Holy cow, Bonnet almost gave himself and us away.
Buenos dias, senores. You're late.
Yes, sir. See, we're very sorry. Our captain delayed us.
In Mendoza?
Yes, sir. He's very excited to meet you. Only he will be present for a hanging, senor.
Hanging.
Ah, no good hanging. Yes, sir. Very nice. If we hear the bell, we may go. If you like.
I'd love to. Especially if Captain Mendoza's pulling the trap. Man owes me money for the slaves I sold him.
Of course, sir. Captain Mendoza is happy to pay you. We have goods to sell, sugars and such.
Excellent.
Well, senor, the hanging will be started soon.
Well, let's not dilly-dally.
Yes, sir. We go.
Oh man, they're excited now. We gotta eavesdrop on them now that they've stopped. Okay, they didn't catch us. Good.
How long will this hanging take, man? I don't mean to hang about all day for the captain.
Quick as anything, sir. Captain Mendoza needs only to hang the man, then he will deliver your payment.
I don't want reales, mind. I want goods. Things I can sell. Tobacco, rum, sugar.
See, we have much fine sugar. Grapes we took off a fat Englishman last night.
Englishman?
Por el delito de motín contra tu capitán, el tribunal te sentencia
Sugar from
a morir
Barbados.
en la horca.
Very fine. We hold it in the Castillo after the man started the fight last night. He ran, left his sugar behind. Very fine.
That's a start. Shall I accompany him to the Castillo?
No, sir. Captain Mendoza will have it sent to you, I believe. You will see.
Good lord. Is that big brute your Captain Mendoza?
No, sir. He is el tiburón. El tiburón, Governor Torres' man.
Well, Bonnet's sugar is in the Castello. Actually, we're headed to it sort of right now, but we're following the captain here. We gotta get his key.
Como mande. De acuerdo.
We'll have these fine ladies distract the guards while we slip in unnoticed with this group. Where'd they lead those guys to? Not even here anymore. Alright, let's go in. See the little statue? Why did you run towards me? Alright, gotta search them. Boom, got ourselves a key. Apparently that was me getting into combat. Alright. Let's go.
Work your magic.
That guy's not distracted. Yeah, so anyways, we gotta find our way into this mother. And this does not look like a good way, so we end up going up the side. Finally, we hide in there, and here we are. Poor Bonnet's sugar. But we can't really grab it. Not that I was gonna try. Yeah, it's a good escape. Hopefully none of the guards thought that was suspicious.
Sorry about the sugar. I've only one pair of hands.
Oh, it's no great loss. I've got plenty of cargo here to make a profit on my trip.
Will you stay here long?
For a few weeks, yes. Then back to Barbados, to the tedium of domesticity.
Don't settle for tedium. Sail for Nassau. Live life as you see fit.
Haven't I heard that Nassau is crawling with pirates? Seems a very tawdry place.
Not tawdry, liberated.
Oh, God. That would be an adventure. But no, I'm a husband and a father. I have responsibilities. Life can't be all pleasure and distraction, Duncan.
Hey, our bonnet. The name's Edward, in truth. Duncan's only a handle.
Ah. Secret name for your secret meeting with the governor.
The governor, right. I think I've kept him waiting long enough.
Yeah, next we can go see the governor. I feel like this is gonna bite me later, telling him what our real name is. He doesn't seem like the guy that's gonna be quiet when we need him to be.
Buenos dias. Mr. Duncan Walpole of England to see the governor. I believe he is expecting me.
Sí, señor Walpole. Entre, por favor.
I assume that Edward doesn't speak Spanish, so we're just going to read this. Is that the man? The, what do you call him? Assassin? Yes, Duncan Walpole. He should have been here days ago. I don't like these foreigners strolling about the city. I don't trust them. Hold your tongue, man. The governor has guests, France and England alike. He's a rough-looking man. I assumed he might look more respectable. The man's been at sea for months. Be easy on him. I mean, at least they're not talking crap, I guess.
Good morning, sir. Would I be correct in thinking you are Duncan Walpole?
I am indeed.
I thought as much. Woods Rogers. A pleasure.
The same.
I must say my wife has a terrible eye for description.
I'm sorry.
My wife. You met her some years ago at the Percy's Masquerade Ball.
Ah, quite.
She called you devilishly handsome. Obviously a lie to stoke my jealousy. Julianne, our guest of honor has arrived, Mr. Duncan Walpole.
Ah. Julien Ducasse. I hope your conversion to our order is an honest one. I have no love for assassins, but even less for liars.
I have not come to disappoint.
Up for a bit of sport, Duncan? The old man isn't ready just yet.
You've got my 2 best pairs of matched pistols, Duncan, so handle them with care.
If I had 8, I'd treat each as my own son.
Pull off a few shots if you like, get a feel for it.
I once fought beside a man who carried 9 on his person. They were a boon in battle, but hindered his ability to swim, sadly.
Quite. A good kick, yes?
I long for the day where one firearm carries 4 bullets, and not the opposite.
I have inside knowledge that that time does come, and it's much more than 4.
I have a friend in England you may like to meet, Julian. James Puckle. He's working on something extraordinary.
Magnifique.
He is, of course, referring to the Puckle gun. It's like a big revolver that's mounted on a tripod. There weren't too many of them known to be made.
Here's a simple challenge. Try to strike every target before this hourglass empties. Remember, hit every target within the allotted time.
Actually, that was pretty close. Guess we should reload these bad boys and then talk to Mr. Cass.
Duncan, where are your wrist blades? I've never seen an assassin so ill-equipped.
Ah, damaged, sadly, beyond all repair.
Uh-huh. Have your choice.
Where did you find all these?
I did not find them. I took them. These are souvenirs.
An assassin killer.
2 blades, as is the custom, oui?
Custom, aye.
Duncan, will you indulge us with a demonstration of your techniques?
Well,
We must. We put together a training course in anticipation of your arrival. It would be a shame to leave here without seeing you in action.
yes, of course. Well, I mean, if there is time, I would gladly, show you what I know.
Here. You see, situations well suited to your skills.
Have a go. A blade in a crowd is always the simplest. Nothing grandiose, just quick and clean.
Show us another technique.
Quite
Alright,
ingenious to use bales of hay for cover, don't you think?
I suppose we can do the tutorial here.
That's the spirit. Secrecy. The advantage of surprise cannot be overstated, isn't that so? Especially around a blind corner. God blind me, that's a clever trick.
Your aerial kills have a poetic beauty, despite their conspicuous quality. Would you show us?
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Also, I didn't actually use the corner to kill that dummy, but whatever. I didn't see these ones bleed on that one. They bled. The dummies, that is.
Deliver a killing blow at high speed.
Oh, it is. And I'm going to show you right now. Oh, God.
Such a powerful strike.
Yeah, these ones do hay. I think on Assassin's Creed 2 they bled. Don't worry about why I approached that chicken.
The assassins have trained you well, Duncan. You chose a perfect time to leave them behind.
At great risk, I imagine. Betraying the assassins is never good for one's health.
Well, neither is drinking liquor, but I am drawn to its dangers all the same. And what is your business here, sir? Are you an associate of the governor's, or a pending acquaintance like myself?
Guns, blades, cannons, grenados. Anything that may kill a man, I am happy to provide.
A smuggler of sorts.
And how is your wife these days, Captain Rogers? Is she, here, in Havana?
I trust she's well, but I wouldn't know. I've been in Madagascar some 14 months hunting pirates. It took some work to dislodge the criminals there, but we managed it. In future, I hope to use these same tactics throughout the West Indies.
And how did you deal with that kind?
Very simply. Most pirates are as ignorant as apes. I merely offered them a choice. Take a pardon and return to England penniless, but free men. Or be hanged by the neck until dead.
Oh. I imagine Nassau would be your next target.
Very astute, Duncan, indeed.
Best of luck with that.
Grandmaster Torres! Mr. Duncan Walpole has arrived.
See. You were expected 1 week ago.
Apologies, Governor. My ship was set upon by pirates. We were scuttled. I arrived only yesterday.
Unfortunate. Forgive my caution, but were you able to salvage from these pirates the items you promised me?
Yes, sir, I was.
Increíble. The assassins have more resources than I had imagined, but not nearly enough to deter us. It is a pleasure to meet you at last, Duncan. You are most welcome. Come, gentlemen. We have much to discuss. Convened at last, and in such continental company. England, France, Spain, citizens of sad and corrupted empires. But you are Templars now, the secret and true legislators of the world. Please, hold out your hands. Mark and remember our purpose. To guide all wayward souls till they've reached the quiet road. To guide all wayward desire till impassioned hearts are cool. To guide all wayward minds to safe and sober thought. By the Father of Understanding's light, let our work now begin. Decades ago, the Council entrusted me with the task of locating in these West Indies a forgotten place our precursors once called the Observatory. See here. Look upon these images and commit them to memory. They tell a very old and important story. For 2 decades now, I have endeavored to locate this observatory, a place rumored to contain a tool of incredible utility and power. It houses a kind of armillary sphere, if you like. A device that would grant us the power to locate and monitor every man and woman on Earth, whatever their location. Only imagine what it would mean to have such a power. With this device, there would be no secrets among men, no lies, no trickery. Only justice, pure justice. This is the observatory's promise, and we must take it for our own.
Do we know its whereabouts?
We will soon. For in our custody is the one man who does, a man named Roberts, once called a sage.
It has been 45 years since anyone has seen a true sage. Can you be sure this one is authentic?
We are confident he is.
The assassins will come for him.
Indeed they will. But thanks to Duncan and the information he has delivered, the assassins won't be a problem for much longer. All will be made clear tomorrow, gentlemen, when you meet the sage for yourselves. Until then, let us drink. Let us find the observatory together. For with its power, kings will fall, clergy will cower, and the hearts and minds of the world will be ours. Rest well, Duncan. Tomorrow the treasure fleet arrives, and with it, your reward. After which we will discuss further schemes.
I look forward to it.
Excelente. Meet me down at the docks first thing tomorrow morning.
Governor Torres requests your presence at the docks near the Castillo. First thing tomorrow morning.
Real quick, before we do anything else, we can learn about some of the people we've interacted with. El Tiberun. Date of birth and death are unknown. Almost nothing is known about El Tiberun, the Shark, outside of what we have seen from his limited interactions with the life of Edward Kenway, his unwavering loyalty to his employer, Loreno Torres, could possibly indicate some familial connection, but there's no benefit to speculation at this point. If we have any interest in learning more about this silent sentinel, our best bet would be to locate a descendant of Torres himself and work our way back through the governor's life until we find a useful convergence. But apart from this, I doubt we'll have much luck. And that's it for him. Next, we have Julian Ducasse, born 1682, and we're not exactly sure when he died. Nephew of the buccaneer Jean Ducasse, or Jean. Julian was born in Montpellier, France, and took after his uncle's example and took to sea at a young age, eventually joining him in a few skirmishes during the War of the Spanish Succession, fighting on the side of the French and by proxy on behalf of King Philip of Spain. Ducasse's skill as a gunner improved rapidly, even as he grew wildly disillusioned with the melancholy and its obsession with lineage, and breeding over raw talent and skill. In 1704, ordered by his superior officers to join his uncle and hundreds of French troops in what would become known as the Battle of Villers-Malaga, Ducasse opted instead to desert his post and seek his fortune in the New World. At first he threw in with the slave traders in Africa, and for a year made a modest profit off the venture. But he was never comfortable with the cruelty and detachment the job required, and so departed for the West Indies in search of yet another vocation. For the next 10 years, Ducasse roamed the West Indies as a hired gun, working for whomever had the coin and confidence to pay him, ever prizing the value of intelligence and skill over mere reputation and breeding. Ducasse eventually found his way into the company of Loreno Torres of Cuba, in whom he found a friend and confidant. Next we have Loreno Torres Ayala. He was born in 1645 in Cuba, and we're not exactly sure when he died, but he was born in Havana, but raised in Madrid, Spain. Loreno was of noble stock, the son of Tomas Torres and Elvira de Cuadros Castellanos. He joined the Spanish army in his late teens and was later appointed as the governor of Spain's territories in Florida, a post he held from 1693 to 1699. He then returned to Europe to participate in the Spanish War of Succession. In 1708, he was appointed to the governor of Cuba, a post he held for 3 years until he was accused of and arrested for corruption. He was acquitted of these charges, however, and managed to win re-election in 1713. During his time in Cuba, he made many lasting improvements to the city, fortifying the island's defenses and kickstarting the production of tobacco there. He remained governor until 1716, after which point he retired and devoted his life to charitable functions such as building hospitals. Note, hard guy to hate with all these charitable outlets. Hard guy to like for the same reason. Dull, dull, dull. Let's dig a little deeper on this guy. Maybe he has a secret fetish or mania. Signed RL. And Woodes Rogers. Born 1679 in England, and we don't exactly know when he died, but Woodes Rogers was born into money. To a seafaring family with deep roots in both Poole and Bristol, England. His early life was a picture of industriousness and ambition, and by the age of 18 he was an apprentice mariner. Upon his father's death at sea in 1706, Woodes inherited his family's prosperous shipping company, which he took to managing with great passion. Between 1704 and 1707, Rogers' fortunes and family grew, and by the time he was 27, his marriage to Sarah Whetstone had produced one son and 2 daughters. By the end of 1707, however, his business had suffered great losses by raiding French forces, giving Rogers the idea to recoup these dreadful losses himself. Knocking about Bristol in search of a partner for his endeavor, he soon found himself in the company of William Dampier, an old friend and unlucky captain who suggested setting out on a privateering expedition, one that would range far and wide about the New World. In 1708, Rogers made the necessary arrangements and set out as captain of his own vessel on a difficult voyage that would last over 3 years. Along his course, Rogers met with many successes and failures. In 1709, of the western coast of South America, he found and rescued a marooned sailor by the name of Alexander Selkirk, a sailor who had spent nearly 4 years living in isolation and who would serve as the inspiration for the book Robinson Crusoe just a few years later. Soon after Selkirk's recovery, Rogers' fleet engaged an enemy vessel in open combat, a skirmish that earned him a pistol shot to the left side of his face and a mangled heel. Neither wound was enough to remove him from command, however, and he continued serving as captain until his return to England in late 1711. To commemorate his return, he had an operation to remove the offending bullet from his upper palate. This guy's incredible. Can we make an entire film about him? Oh, gee. Now, in poor health but high spirits, Woodes set about writing his memoirs. Upon his publication a few years, they were an immediate success and proved a great source of income, but this brief glory was offset by the sudden death of his son, a tragedy compounded some months later by his wife's decision to leave him. Also at this time, Rogers was sued by former shipmates for allegedly hoarding goods and money plundered from enemy vessels. Rogers assembled a defense, but lost the case. In 1713, itching to return to the sea, he organized passage to Madagascar, claiming to be a merchant in the slave trade, but with the intended purpose of reconnoitering the rumored pirate colonies established there. When he arrived in Madagascar after months of hard sailing, he found that the legends of the pirate town Libertalia had been exaggerated 100-fold. The pirates in Madagascar were sickly and few and desperate for help. After spending just a few months here, Roger set sail for England, a failure in his own mind. And yet, never one to give up hope, Wood Rogers reoriented his attempts to the West Indies, eventually lobbying King George for a commission to hunt pirates in the Caribbean. On this score, he succeeded. After a few diligent years of making his case, King George appointed Woods Rogers as the governor of the Bahamas. Now, at last he would make his mark and bring justice to a land where chaos had taken root. It looks like we missed a landmark in Havana, the governor's prisons. As colonial governments expanded their duties in the West Indies, they often operated in an ad hoc manner. As a result, the improvised use of fortifications as a governor's residence or as the town prison was not unusual. Note, good use of space, multi-purpose, very green. Signed, JM. Now that we're all done with that, we can actually leave the Animus. We have no need to really explore anymore as of yet, but we do have some messages in our tablet here. So, looking at those, we have, it looks like 4 messages. From Chloe Lindsay. Hi there, welcome to the team. We should have lunch sometime once you are settled. The next one is from Evan Dean. Welcome aboard. Ahoy, mate. Welcome to the good ship. Abstergo Entertainment, where everything is always jolly and we all love to work. We all love our work to death. Glad to have you aboard. I hope you are fun. The last guy was a little dull and, well, just kidding. See you around. The next one is M.O. Boudralt. Nice to meet you. ... I just wanted to say it's so cool having a new face on the team. This is a great place to work, but some people can get a little negative at times. If you know what I mean, let's get a coffee later. Everyone seems pretty nice. Next we have John from IT. Hey, John here. Nice meeting you. If you have any problems with your Animus, feel free to shoot me a message. I don't extend this privilege to anyone, but Melanie tells me you know your stuff. Good enough for me. Let's see. Diary. Welcome to Abstergo Entertainment. Work diary, week 1. My first day at work, I have been assigned to the most prestigious project in the company, the Sample 17 project. My job is to research the life of the pirate Edward Kenway and find promising footage for use in future Abstergo products. Sample 17 executive producer Melanie LeMay is a passionate and energetic leader, and the company's CCO Oliver Garneau seems like a fun guy. I can't wait to settle in and get to work. Okay, so we now know ML and OG if those are the people talking to us. And I think that is it. And with that, we're going to actually end today's episode. I would like to thank you for watching so much. Thank you so much. And that's about it. So please do like, comment, subscribe. Do all the YouTube normal things. Comment. All I really care about is comments, to be honest. If you're watching at all, if you made it this far, blah, blah, blah. And goodbye.